Welcome to Firebreathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode microplot is a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits into an overarching macroplot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order and can skip any that you don't enjoy. Today we are using the combat mechanics from a game called Witch Scouts by Livy Watkinson, apologies Livy, and Christopher Foster. You can find this game at Drive-Thru RPG. Build your own Witch Scout character and play a game with friends. Speaking of friends today, we are joined by Arby.
Greetings. I am a 5'9" human-appearing humanoid. I have black shoulder-length hair, violet eyes, translucent skin, and I'm currently wearing an olive drab flight suit. I also, though, on top of that, I'm currently wearing a fancy top hat, a black cloak, and I have a shovel strapped to my back.
And Mary.
Good morrow, all. So I'm playing Mary and trying to do a weird accent. I'm trying to do an old Shakespearean English accent. I'm going to build throughout the season and see if I can become unintelligible by the end. That's the goal. But Mary is actually from 1500s England. She is about 5'4", has ruddy skin, brown hair, and eyes, and she wears a blue kirtle over a white linen dress.
And Bill.
Hello, my name is Bill. I'm a build-a statueman. I'm a 7-foot tall living statue. I am dark grey. I have light grey eyes. I am handsome. Some people say I am chiseled.
You all find yourself in a bar. And in this bar, it's bustling with activity. There's parents that seem to be shepherding children around. And the children are anywhere from late elementary to middle school age. And the poor barmaid looks very haggard and has been running. And she finally approaches your table. And she says, "What you ordering?"
I don't drink or eat. I am a statue, but thank you.
Come now, sirrah. Let's have a bear.
Would you perhaps have vapors of witchcraft?
Nay, Arby, we shall not have the vapors again.
The barmaid kind of looks between the three of you, very exasperated, and goes, "All right, you want a bear and vapors, and okay, yep, I gotcha." And she just runs off back behind the bar.
And Mary just calls off after them, "Nay, nix the vapors, nix the vapors."
So you all get your drinks. What do you think of all the chaos? How does your character react to all the children running around?
Bill stands incredibly still. Statue-like, you might say.
Friend Mary, is it common for people to bring their children into places where adults often imbibe drinks?
From my land, Arby, nay, 'tis fair strange. But this land is fair strange to me anyways.
GM, is this more like a tavern or an inn, or is it just a bar?
As you're looking around, you kind of see like paraphernalia of another guild, and you get the feeling that this is a guild headquarters. That's not the Firebreathing Kittens, and they are not expecting as many parents with children around. You also notice that some of the kids are wearing shirts that say, "Welcome to Camp Fable."
Did we just wake up here?
Yes, you all had a long day of traveling and you all kind of stumbled in. And on that note,
Okay.
walking up to you is a very tall, not hooded figure this time. If you are a previous listener of Firebreathing Kittens, usually they are hooded. Drow, a dark-skinned, kind of elf-looking, but not quite right for an elf, has horns coming out, dark purple skin, very dark eyes, and wearing what looks to be a rumpled counselor's t-shirt. And they walk up to you and they go, "Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. I know the Firebreathing Kittens have not helped Bob in a while, but I was desperate. You have to understand, I was so desperate." And then they kind of realize they've never met you guys before, and they go, "Oh, hi, I'm Indibnus. I wasn't expecting you, but that works."
Indibnus, you said?
Yes.
And I feel like a Bob was also mentioned.
Yes. This character's name is Indibnus, and if you would like to do some kind of, not research, but essentially either cast some magic or roll to see how much of your fire-breathing kitten history you know, your character knows.
I'm sorry, what name one more time? Indibnus?
Indibnus. Yep.
Indibnus.
Oh.
Bill looks at him and goes, "Indibnus, expectations rarely are part."
You never
Yes.
left.
Yeah.
Indibnus, expectations rarely meet reality. What were you expecting?
Oh, some more senior members, usually they don't want people to deal with Bob's shenanigans that aren't experienced, but it's totally fine. It'll all be fine. I mean, nobody's died yet. And I mean, you all are fire-breathing kitten guild members. I'm running around with my head cut off, you know?
Don't worry, your head is very clearly still attached to your body. I can verify this.
I'm not familiar with shenanigans, but they sound delightful.
They sound violent, Arby. Shenaniganry is not to be trifled with.
Oh, so we must stay away from shenaniganry?
Indeed, by all accounts.
What would you have us do, Indibnus?
I guess, never mind. And they kind of shake their head and they go, "Well, someone else already came here, so I just assumed that you were following behind. We have a missing familiar, and really I can't spare the manpower to find it. And honestly, like, who knows if this land is haunted or whatever, because we got it for like a steal of a deal to make this summer camp. And so I super duper need someone experienced to help me out on this, because as you can see," and they kind of gesture to all the parents, "it's drop off day, and we can't have people running around saying, 'Oh, we lost their familiars. Our camp will crash.'"
Prithee, thou sayest this place is haunted.
Maybe, probably. I mean, how else do you get a bunch of acreage for like nothing?
If a haunting there be, friends, we must rid this land of the foul demon that haunts it. That haunted it. God, this is hard. We gotta find it.
From our prior experience, Mary, isn't it typical that ghosts are just merely trying to re-inhabit their bodies?
Indeed, and that is bad. Dost thou not remember Obsidiana?
Yes, you're correct.
Thou forgettest quickly, Arby.
That was a very poor lapse in judgment.
Indeed, and if there be ghosts such as Obsidiana in this place, other people, well, we shall not consider it. A familiar, you say, dear Indibnus?
Yes, he's kind of, I don't really know what he is. He's like a little puffball and he sparkles, and like the other reason we need him is because he's also kind of our disco ball for the dance. And believe me, he really does like it. This is not a case of him running away. He's just a sentient puffball of magic. And quite frankly, if we can't find it, I'm very scared what happens to it if it's left out there for more than, I mean, it's already been 24 hours.
We will find your magic puffball.
Indeed, I know it's not what disco be, but we shall find your disco.
It is the best type of dancing. You point a lot.
'Tis gesticulation. Are you unaware of it?
I'm a bit stiff of a dancer.
I am only good at one particular dance.
Oh, I'm not asking. I am not asking.
I feel like I'm supposed to ask you what that type of dance is.
The robot And then Arby starts doing very robotic movements.
Also, the Robo Boogie. And Bill joins in.
You have like hordes of children coming and clapping and dancing with you.
Bill is vibing with that. He likes kids.
They all are very excited. One of them comes up to you and goes, "Mister, are you like a magical statue? Because like you look really, really tough."
Yes, I am. I am a statue that is trying to be a hero.
Aw. The kid goes, "Oh, that's so cool," and like runs off, and you can see him like grabbing his mom's skirt, going, Mom, there's a hero statue," like 400 miles an hour.
As kids often do.
Arby pulls out his phaser, which looks a bit like a cordless facial hair trimmer, and he adjusts some settings and starts zapping pine cones and like showing it off to the children.
Oh, the kids are so excited. They're like, "Oh, gun!"
And Mary's like, oh, fire hazard.
You can definitely tell which of the children in this pack of kids would be the future firebugs of the world. They are very obsessed. As Indemnis is kind of sitting there, she's like, okay. Let's... Obviously, the kids really, really like you, which is great because we don't want them to be terrified because, summer camp. Why did I agree to this? Do you want to come with me? We have some... She kind of gets real close and goes, "Secret tunnels to the camp," just so that way we can kind of avoid all the lines and whatnot.
Indeed, lead the way, Indemnis.
Oh, great. And then she takes you behind the bar and she kind of waves and she goes, "Bye, Sally." And you can see she had the poor barmaid that's super stressed out has a bare arm in her hand and like a glass holding a bunch of like clouds, and she just kind of goes, like, "Why are you leaving?"
Mary just calls out, "Fare thee well, Sally." God, this accent's so hard, but it's so fun. It's so fun.
Don't apologize. Just lean into it.
Exactly.
Never apologize for comedy.
As you guys kind of crawl into this tunnel in the back room of the bar, you notice that as you keep walking, it seems to be kind of like a labyrinth down here. And there's clearly marked arrows pointing like this way to the camp exit, this way to the camp exit. But the rest of the labyrinth is unlabeled. As you continue to travel, eventually you do come to a door that Indemnis pushes open, and you find yourself in the middle of Camp Fable. And as you look around, you can kind of tell that you popped up kind of close to inside the front gates. And to your left is a beautiful, beautiful garden that is blooming in all sorts of different colors. And there's a bunch of cabins. Back in the far corner, you can kind of see some like Pegasi grazing in a field. To your right, there's a huge games field. There's a fighting arena. And there's a bunch of different big brown buildings. And way off in the distance to the right is a large lake.
Where was the magic puffball last seen?
Oh, well, he was last seen, where, let me go get the report. And she kind of runs into a building and pulls out comes back with a piece of paper. She goes, "He was last seen in the familiar stables, but really it was our camp director that was supposed to be watching him. And, I wonder where." And behind you sprouts this giant green mushroom, and out steps what our audiences would liken to a blonde Barbie who is dressed in bright pink, very bleached blonde hair, blue eyes. And she goes, like, "OMG, are you like the Firebreathing Kittens?"
Yes.
What did she say? Mary legit doesn't understand a word she just said.
She wants to know if we are the fire-breathing kittens.
Then why?
And I told her yes.
Then why does she coat her words in strange machinations? The like.
I would imagine I would imagine it's for the same reasons you do, because everyone talks a little different, and it's okay. She can talk her way, you can talk your way, and I will translate for both of you.
If anything happens to your character,
I just the cinnamon roll. I can't. Like Mary wants to be a little snarky, but player does not.
Snark away.
That is a DM threat.
Yeah. I think Mary will just like look at you in awe, Bill, and just say, "That's the calmest human statue my eyes have seen. Good for you."
Thank you. When you are made of rock, things don't happen very fast in general, so calmness is usually for the best. But then sometimes decisive action, and I need to learn which is which sometimes.
Thou'rt in luck. Decisiveness is mine boon.
Tiffany kind of waves and goes, so I totally did not mean to lose the little guy. He was so cute and I just wanted to let him out of his cage, and I know I shouldn't have, and I know I'm supposed to be in charge of all of this, and I just it's so terrible. And also I really wasn't sure if a kid did it or if an adult did it, but I don't think an adult did it. And she is going for 2 minutes, and then finally she's like, so anyways, and she kind of pops open her hands and a couple of mushrooms pop up, and one of them is orange and one of them is pink. And she goes, so I have these mushrooms, and one of them would totally turn you into kids if you want to investigate the kids, or we can just say that you're counselors. That's totally fine as well.
Mary's suffering from an aneurysm.
I turn to Mary and say she doesn't know who did it. She's very sorry. She didn't know what happened. She wants to know if we want to investigate as children. She can give us a mushroom that will make us look like children, or we can possibly be camp counselors. I have never been a child, but I am excited at the prospect.
Arby's already eating one.
Arby, no! I guess we're doing it the entire time. Mary just looks at Arby, and I imagine he's already transforming and shrinking, and she's just so she's just muttering to herself, that person be the camp counselor, camp directors. Arby just going right in, just eats it, starts shrinking.
Since I don't eat, I'm going to take the mushroom and get some of the spores and sort of make a paste out of it and rub it on myself instead.
So my question for you is, do you have any cracks in your statuing? Do you have any marks?
I mean, I would imagine there's seams and things because I have to be able to move. So probably, sure.
Because any old injuries that you may have had, any scars that you may have had, go completely away, and you find yourself. In fact, which mushroom did you eat? Did you eat the orange or the pink one?
Well, I would ask. Arby just ate, but if I want to be a kid, I just assumed he ate the one who was shrinking as a child.
The orange one was the one I was going after, because I was like, Arby's never been a child before. This would be a fun experience, so he just went for it.
Oh no, Arby, that one's the magic mushrooms. That's not the one that makes you a kid.
Well, so did you all go for orange?
I would have gone for the same one as Arby.
Bill would ask, which one should I eat?
Well, as you can see, the orange one turns you into a 5th grader, and the pink one turns you into an 8th grader. So whatever you want to be. Do you want to be 10 or do you want to be 13?
Well,
do you
I'm
want
not
to be
sure. I don't want...
Oh, sorry.
I don't want people to think I'm not cool because I'm hanging out with little kids. As a 13-year-old, with 10-year-olds, that might cramp my style. So I suppose I should also be a 5th grader. I don't want to be too cool.
At this point, like, as you're talking, Bill, like, 10-year-old Mary is just, like, starting to, like, crawl, like, just try and, like, climb up your leg. She's got, like, big, big ruddy cheeks, and, like, her face is all red with excitement, and her hair is just a little curly. She's so cute.
And for those of you wondering, their clothes did shrink with them.
Do you think it would be weird if one of us was an adult? Because I don't know what would happen. I have never been smaller. If it goes back too far, I will turn into a rock.
Well, like, I'm like a mushroom kind of person, and she kind of like waggles her fingers and a bunch of mushrooms sprout up behind her. But I definitely would love to see you try this mushroom, because if you turn into a rock, I like totally know like a guy and we can totally fix it. But if you wanted to like be their camp counselor, that's totally cool too.
I suppose I will be cool and take your mushrooms.
Excellent. Would you like to be a 5th grader or an 8th grader?
5th grader, please.
Okay, of course. So she hands over the mushroom. Do you just paste it and kind of rub it on you?
Yeah.
You kind of shrink, but as you shrink, your mass becomes more dense. So you are almost heavier than when you started, because you're more crunched down. But you are fully conscious and not a rock.
So I went from like full-size statue to like lawn statue.
Yes.
Okay. Also, I just want to say, getting peer pressured into taking mushrooms is not the official stance of Firebreathing Kittens.
Don't do drugs.
Tiffany, what would happen if we took both mushrooms?
I don't know. I've never had somebody want to try my little experiments. Now, I know how these work individually, don't get me wrong. It's like totally awesome, but I like definitely don't know. We could try, but it could also like totally backfire and you could explode. Who knows?
I'm curious if you would become 23 or if one would supersede the other.
So I've got a question. Arby, what do you look like right now as a 5th grader? And are you speaking like adult Arby as kid Arby?
I don't think his voice would change, actually. But
Kid Arby sounds like a rapper.
I need to think on that some more. I did it so fast now I don't even know for sure the answer to that.
I kind of like the idea of Arby just having like his regular voice still. He's just like little.
So, in my mind, Bill went from like a heroic statue of a real ancient hero to now like a little cherubic angel you would see like, you know, with the diaper like above a bird bath. And he's real excited about it.
He weighs like, you still weigh the same. So you are much heavier than what people would expect.
And my voice is the same, which is very unexpected coming from this cherubic face.
Whereas Mary is just like, Bill, Arby, we're little.
Yes, it is very exciting. I have never seen the world from this point of view before.
Jim, what time of day is it, out of curiosity? Or
it is like mid-morning, like 10 a.m.-ish.
So we're outside with the camp with the camp head counselor. What's her position again?
So you currently are standing at the front gates with Tiffany Tyler Johnson, who is the camp director, and Indemnis.
And the last place this magic puffball was seen was the stables,
which is across camp.
Okay.
Which you can see in the distance.
I also have another question. When you were very excitedly talking, you said you don't know who did it. What do you mean? Was this someone that wandered off, or do you expect someone has taken the magic puffball?
Well, I mean, he is literally like this tiny, most adorable little ball of fluff and he was created by this little kid who loves mushrooms, and so I'm not quite sure how he did it. But point being, he can't really open his cage by himself because he weighs like a feather. So he can't really lift anything. He's just cute and happy and bounces and sparkles.
Was anyone jealous that this was a magical, fun mushroom puffball and wanted them as their friend instead?
Maybe. I totally, I'm going to be honest because you guys are totally adults. And she kind of does a double take and goes, you're totally adults. And I don't really pay attention to anything because Indemnis here is totally on everything. And I just got this job because my dad totally was I'm gonna cut you off if you don't actually get a real job. And I thought running a summer camp would be all fun and flirting and laying in the sun, and it's totally not that.
He turns to Mary and says, she says she's not good at her job, but Indemnis is, and we should talk to Indemnis, but her father made her get this job, and it was shocking that she had to do work.
10-year-old Mary turns around, fists on little hips, and points a finger at this camp director and says, "Thou'rt a rascal, and bad at thine job."
Indeed, but she did call us in, so maybe she can rise to the occasion.
"Nay, I do not believe it so."
Mary, don't adults typically take positions that they are able to be very good at?
"Indeed, or they are called to it. But I think this one is not good at it and should be gone."
So my question for Mary, is Mary street urchin child, or is Mary I'm just very curious.
So here's the thing about Mary. She loves the queen. God save the queen, right? Queen Elizabeth I, all about her. Seeing another woman in a high position and not having the grace and elegance and stature that nobility should have pisses her off, because she's just she's the daughter of a textile merchant, but it's an up and coming family where she's starting to get a bit of a taste of class, and she wants to be an upper class person. That's one of her big goals when she gets back to her world. So just seeing this person be not caring at all just pisses her off. Also, Mary is in the Witch Scouts game a Hex Scout, and so Mary is going to probably not in the right, probably shouldn't, but she's decisive. She's going to cast the Evil Eye spell.
Ooh, yes. Do you have that pulled up in front of you? Can you read it to us?
Yes, I do. Okay, give a target the stink eye, causing them to not only be extremely uncomfortable, causing them to not only be extremely uncomfortable, but to gain a condition, my choice. NPCs will generally flee or back down. There's a backlash if this doesn't pass, but I'm hoping it does, because it'd be great if she just cowers before Mary's power.
And also, listeners, just so you know, there are basically 2 moves in Witch Scouts: cast a spell and other. As the DM, it's my job to kind of help guide our little Witch Scouts in what the other would be. And the spell casting can go, like we said, either really right or really, really wrong. So go ahead and roll. Do you have mastery with that spell?
Yes. Yes, I do. Because we only had mastery for one of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
That was the one I picked. Just wanted to make sure.
Do you have 2 dots or 1 dot?
I didn't put any dots. I don't think I read. Okay. I think I missed that part.
So we'll just say 1 dot. Okay. So it gives you just roll your regular 2d6.
Okay, great. Oh yeah, I see it now. I definitely missed that part in the character creation. Note to everyone listening, you should read the full character creation before you play a game.
It's fine. We can do it on the fly.
God dang, I got 2 2s.
Oof. So, on a 1 to 6, something bad happens.
Of course, this happened the last time Mary tried like a spell too. Like the last time she and Arby were in an episode together. She can't do magic without it backfiring, which like makes sense. She doesn't have control, but still.
I'm going to give Mary a condition, which I can do as a GM. And she's going to have the condition confused. So as she is kind of pointing, Tiffany Tyler Johnson says, "Oh my gosh, look how cute." She's totally awesome.
You ever gotten the stink eye from a 10-year-old?
Yeah. And Mary's just sitting there like looking at her finger and then like trying to point again, like almost like shaking it, trying to be like a flashlight that's not working. It's like, no, be afraid. Be afraid.
I do have one mechanical question. I remembered in the rules we're supposed to keep track of how many times we help each other because friendship is important in this game. Does me translating ramblings count as helping her?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
excellent.
Go ahead and mark that down. That will become important later. Thank you for reminding me.
I think it's Tiffany, right?
Tiffany?
Yes, it's Tiffany Tyler Johnson.
Tiffany Tyler Johnson. Okay.
I'm going to write that down.
TTJ.
Okay.
So, with confused, this condition clears when a friend explains to you what's happening and why. So one more explanation and you're free of it. You badly misinterpret a situation and cause a scene, or you run away from a confusing situation.
Oh.
So mechanically, when one of those things happened, you do get to clear that condition, which we will probably have that happen. As Tiffany is kind of staring at you. She goes, "Oh my gosh," she's like totally cute. And in dimness, you can just see her in the background smacking herself in the face. Like, oh my gosh. And she kind of points and she goes, "So the stables are over there if you want to go check them out. Like I said, we did hire 2 guilds. Well, I didn't. Our camp leader did." And Tiffany kind of goes, "Oh my gosh, like totally," because I thought like a bunch more brains on this would be totally like awesome.
Who is the other guild that you have hired?
Well, he was like not, I think he has like a guild. I'm assuming he does. He was like this really cool fighter guy, and he looked kind of like
Bob?
No, Bob's like my uncle, kind of. He's like really, really rich, and my dad is like best friends with him, and I'm pretty sure he's like a dragon or something, and he's just like really old and has like 4 million different midlife crises, I guess you could like say. And like I totally like talked him into like buying this land so that way we could like start a summer camp.
Okay.
And
can we talk to Indimnus, please?
And she kind of looks at you and goes, like, "I guess it is still like my summer camp." And Indimnus kind of looks at her and goes, "Don't you have kids to check in?" And she goes, "Oh my God, yes, like I totally do, and I'm totally like running late." And she just disappears in a poof in another mushroom.
Mary just has like the total like googly eyes right now, just like eyes spinning, tottering back and forth, just cannot compute what's going on right now.
Arby, after having watched and perceived Tiffany for a bit and seeing that Mary is confused, is going to walk over to Mary and say, I believe you might have pegged Tiffany wrong. I think perhaps she suffered from not having the proper role models in her own life in order for her to become a strong individual. Just to try and get you to sympathize with her a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know if this would move Mary or not.
Indimnus, what can you tell us about who is also investigating and what might have happened to the puffball? I suppose I should also ask, what is the puffball's name?
Oh, the puffball's name is Puff. It is owned by a 6-year-old, so not very A+ naming skills there. And Bill's player, make sure you mark off some friendship stuff because you did try to be a good friend to Mary. And Nimnus kind of looks at you and sighs and goes, so Puff was put up last night at some point in time. Who knows with Tiffany Tyler Johnson. And we just know that when we got up in the morning, he was gone, and there was some little tiny like footprints by his like gate door, and I totally am I'm very happy. Sorry, I'm slipping into TTJ there. Very happy to show you the stables this way. Now for the guy that she did hire, he's like an elf, and he's tall. He chose to come in as a counselor, and I mean, he has pale yellow skin, kind of, and like his eyes are green. He kind of reminds me of some kind of weird plant. I'm not sure, but he said that he knows you guys. And his name started with a J. Let me look at my notes. And she pulls out a notebook and she goes, oh, yeah. It was Jessup. That was his name. And I'm pretty sure he's over at the stables too. So I can show you him too and be like, hey, don't attack each other, because that would be funny in front of the kids.
Is he also pretending to be a child?
No, he decided to stay as a counselor. And quite honestly, I'm very surprised y'all took mushrooms from a strange person, but to each their own. You are the professionals.
It seemed like a fun idea at the time. I should have asked if this wears off.
In my experience, eating things that have been given to you from strangers has worked out for me so far.
That's true, though.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I think we should head to the stables. Oh, we should also probably ask who the puffball belongs to and talk to that kid. So who does this puffball belong to?
So here's the thing. Kind of belongs to this kid named Opie Whitespore, and he's on vacation with his guardian. He's royalty, kind of. They have a lot of money. I don't really know what his deal is, but his guardian works for Hell Casino and makes a lot of money. And they trusted TTJ for some reason to watch the puffball for a week. I still have no idea how she managed that. So they're off site at the moment, and that's part of the reason we called you in, because we don't want them to know that we lost the puff.
Well, I suppose we should get started then.
Yeah. And Mary will turn to Arby after hearing that they will be helping royalty and that royalty has chosen Tiffany. She'll turn to Arby and just say, Maps, you're right, Arby. But still, I like his turn not.
I don't think liking Tiffany is required for us to perform our tasks, so I don't think this will be a detriment at all.
Fine. Prithee, lead the way.
To the stables, I guess, right?
Yes. How do you all, for our little travel cut, as children, do you walk normally? Do you walk as you did as adults? Or do you skip or, adventure walk?
So one of Bill's traits I picked was he is proficient with broom flying, but being a statue, I didn't know we were going to shrink. I'm going to say instead of a broom, he is going to be riding like a rock polisher.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I think he sees one on the ground and goes, this might be fun. I've never done this before. And he gets on it and just sort of hovers off the ground a little bit, not too high. Because if nobody else can fly, he just wants to ride around in his rock polisher.
It's a safety rock polisher. It has a limit of 3 feet off the ground.
Well, I mean, Bill is made of stone. He's worried about being shattered if he drops too far.
So Arby has kind of found that he has more sprightly energy in this form, and so he's climbing on things, he finds a small ledge and he's like balancing across it. Like he's just walking his way there, but he's like, playing as he goes.
Have you decided what Arby looks like?
I think he's just a small version of Arby. I don't think he changed that much. I think
Arby, but miniature.
Yeah, I think he's like a precocious child form of himself. So his mannerisms and his appearance didn't change all that much, but perhaps his attitude and his kind of exuberance is a little bit higher than usual.
Mary's definitely trying to walk like she did as an adult. So her strides are a little too long and like her arms are swinging a little too far. And she's just not used to it. And she trips a lot. She like face plants into the grass at one point, and she's just like, she gets up close to tears, but she like wipes it away angrily and just like keeps walking and trying to adjust. She's trying so hard to be grown up.
Bill slows down. Would you like to ride on my rock polisher and I can walk?
Nay.
It is quite fun.
Nay, I say. I can do it.
Okay.
It's so cute. It's such a cute little... as you guys approach the stables, you do notice out in the paddocks a bunch of Pegasi of varying shades, ages, shapes. You have some that are like mini ponies, and then you have like a Clydesdale Pegasi, and you kind of walk your way around the edge of the field, and they kind of trot along with you. Baby one kind of frolics a little bit and runs at the fence and then runs away all scared. And then you guys come to a stable that's really well taken care of. Like, you understand now that this camp brings in a lot of money, and it's like polished iron doors, and their sign says familiar stable and like really fancy script. And Mary, ironically, you kind of recognize this script. It's the easiest thing you've had to read this whole time.
What does it say?
And in there, it just says familiar stable.
Oh.
And in there, as you kind of peek into the different, or between the bars, since you are a little shorter now, you do see different varying types of familiars. There's a couple owls in the ceiling. There's a dog in one, a cat in another. And at the end, there's a gold-plated stall that has a gold nameplate that says Puff. And the door is wide open, and there seems to be red string kind of strung across it, like crime scene tape. Like someone was trying to keep people out, but they didn't have actual crime scene tape and didn't know what they were doing. What do you all do?
Go in and look at Puff's stable and try to find the footprints that they were talking about.
Do you guys rush in, or do you go in very carefully?
I mean, I just sort of go in like sort of in the middle, just sort of how you go into a room. Bill's not expecting a fight. He's just going on in.
As you walk in, you kind of staring at the ground looking for these footsteps. You do find the footsteps. They are teeny tiny, no bigger than like an American quarter. And they're everywhere. Like a horde of whatever this was came through here. There also seems to be bits of glitter on the floor, and a little bit of like hay in a corner and water in a corner. And then there's like pellets and vegetables. Like they didn't know how to feed this thing, so they were just kind of giving it everything and hoping it stayed alive. And you do hear a noise from the top rafters, and down drops a elven man wearing some kind of adventurer's outfit, but also wearing like a camp t-shirt that says counselor on it. He's about 5'10". He has pale yellow skin, green eyes, and he says, "Oh, I didn't expect, I guess I should have expected you all to be here. Did not expect you to be children, though."
We're blending in.
Blending in, yes. And you, Arby, recognize him as Jessup Zadok.
As soon as you said the elf like like dropped from the rafters. I was like, oh yeah, you definitely did just tell us about this guy like 10 minutes ago, and we promptly forgot.
What's the guy's name again?
Jessup Zadok? Did I pull the wrong NPC? That's totally possible. You know from recent from recent notes from other Firebreathing Kittens guild members that this is the enemy of Zidane Carmichael, kind of. They're not really enemies anymore. They are planning on fighting in the future.
So he's not like an active threat or anything like that?
Correct.
May I ask why you were hiding in the rafters?
Oh, well, there's footprints up here as well. Are you not from the Firebreathing Kittens Guild?
I'm just here for the ponies.
We are from the Fire-Breathing Kittens. Do not let my cherubic face distract you or trick you. We are blending in with the natives, and we have just recently gotten here. As you can see on my magical rock polisher, I would have made it to the rafters eventually, but I decided to stay on the ground at first as that was more convenient.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. So, since you're kids, he kind of looks at Indivnus and goes, do I have to stay with them? I still get paid, right? Even though they showed up. And Indivnus, again, this seems to be the theme that you all see, especially you, Mary. You just see the look of exasperation and Indivnus just smacking themselves in the forehead like, oh my gosh.
Mary legit just like goes up to Indivnus and just like pats her hand. She can't reach much higher than that. They both just have like, I imagine they both have the same look of just like, Yes. And Indivnus goes, yes, you'll still get paid, but obviously you can't be, I mean, I guess we could make you the counselor of these kids, but honestly, just, don't be a problem. Yeah. Don't kill each other. Yeah. It's basic things. I'm going to go help with admin because odds are TTJ is totally going to burn down something. Maybe. We're trying to get into a mushroom. Who knows? Who knows? And they just kind of leave. And you're left there with Jessup, who's kind of standing there, and he's like, cool, so do you want to work with me? Or are you, like, good on your own? Was not expecting kids. Thou lackest adventure, then.
I think that means we should probably go our own way, and we will check back in later if we have questions for you. I've got my eye on you as I am also investigating.
Cool. Good luck. Footprints head out towards the dock, I guess, if you can't get up high. And he kind of like obnoxiously flips through the rafters and out a window.
I likest him not either.
Bill, these footprints, I have not seen footprints quite this small before.
Are there any animals in the stable currently that could match those tracks? Maybe it could be like Mary's gonna start looking around. You said there were like owls and stuff. Does it kind of look like it could be like, talons or something having settled on the ground?
No, it looks like teeny tiny little like ballet slipper prints. So not quite shoe prints. Bill, how much research have you done into like plant life, magical creatures, whatnot?
I mean, my dad is a wizard and raised me for a few years, so I assume I would know some basic stuff.
So if you would like to fly up and investigate the footsteps on the ceiling and roll 2d6 to see if they look familiar, because that was your plan.
Yep. I have a 5 and a 2.
So that is a 7, and on a 7 for when it's magical, it is. You do it, but at a cost. Choose one. Mark a condition, your choice. You upset someone, they mark a condition, their choice. or you fail, but we're at a 7. So, mark
Do I
a
choose
condition
who
your
I
choice.
upset?
You can.
Oh, I was gonna say, can I upset the guy who just left? Like I run into him as he's walking out and knock him out of the rafters.
Yes, that is totally fine. So you fly up and your safety broom or your safety rock polisher kind of bucks a little bit and flies up faster than you're expecting, as if a switch got toggled off for the height. And you happen to bump into Jessup, who's hanging out on the ceiling, kind of scouting around with a pair of binoculars, and he tumbles off the side. But since he is an adult and kind of weirdly graceful, he tumbles out and just kind of goes, really kids, they sent kids, and just mutters his way off towards the lake.
Sorry, I've never flown on a rock polisher before. I didn't mean to knock you out of the window. Hey, that's the first time I've defenestrated somebody.
Is there a defenestration mastery? No, I don't think so. There should be. But with your success, you do kind of vaguely remember a creature that you think lived in the forest, like the name's at the tip of your tongue and you can't remember it, but you do kind of get a very strong, hey, I think I've seen these in a forest before.
Hey, I think I've seen these footprints in a forest before. I mean, probably not these ones specifically. That would be weird. But, like, ones just like them.
Well, perhaps that could be our plan B, but he did say that they led out to the dock, so perhaps we should follow them to the dock first.
'Twould be sensible. Oh,
Sounds
sorry.
like a good idea to me.
That was an adult Mary voice. 'Twould be sensible.
So, GM, is there a Pegasus in this stable across from the Puffball's little gold stable or cage?
No, but there is like an attached stable that's labeled Pegasus, where you could go and see them in their stalls, the ones that aren't turned out.
I want to, like, reach my hand out and try to, like, befriend one of these Pegasi.
Oh my god, is Arby a horse girl?
I guess
I
we'll find
love
out.
that.
Go ahead and roll. Does anybody want to help in some way?
Oh, I'd love to help, actually. Mary actually does know a little bit about horses, because, like, she deals with them all the time when she's, like, helping her dad, like, travel and stuff as a merchant. So I think what Mary would do is she would kind of give, like, tips to Arby as they're walking over to the stable. Thou must speak softly, yea, softly, and no eye contacts, and they must approach thou.
He will follow her instructions. I actually mechanically have an idea for this, too. If
Yes.
we might could roll first, though, but if it'll let me touch it, I have an idea.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. So in the stables, you have 3 options. You have a tiny little mini pony who is brown and white, kind of like a pinto pattern. And then you have a golden, like, quarter horse sized. So like what you would think of when you think of just like a horse, Pegasi. And then you have a huge, ginormous black giraffe Pegasi. So think like Budweiser, Clydesdales, but black. So which one do you choose? And then we'll let you roll for it.
I think I'll go for the golden, you said quarter horse?
Yeah.
And I don't have any sort of skill for just trying to win it over or, like, get its attention, but I'll still roll for it.
Yes, roll for it and then add +1 because Mary is helping you out with her wealth of horse knowledge.
Awesome.
I hope it's actual horse knowledge. Player does not know anything about horses.
Still didn't roll very good. I got a 6.
You want to get right behind him and slap him in the butt. Don't let him know you're there.
Something bad happens.
No.
That's why I said
Oh, wait,
that.
that's spells.
That's spells, yeah. I am going to give you the condition chicken.
Oh, no.
So as you kind of walk up, the golden Pegasi kind of jumps and paws at the ground, and it's kind of scary. I will let you try again with the other two if you would like.
Hold on.
But this one is...
Can Bill help?
Yes.
Bill is going to walk over and take Arby's hand gently and go, approaching horses, you need to be calm and slow. And he looks at the horse, or like the pegs, goes, hello, little fella. What's your name? And just coos and talks and slowly approaches holding out his hand.
So make sure you guys are all marking down friendship tally marks, A. B, as you do that, we'll add that +1 to your roll, which pushes you into a 7. So I'm still just going to leave you with that chicken condition a little bit. But I would imagine the horse is calming down a little bit. How is Arby feeling?
I think he kind of like realized he might have bit off a little more than he could chew. And when the thing balked, and then Bill helping him, and now he's like feeling a little more at ease about it. But I think maybe his own kind of nervousness spooked it was like a negative feedback situation, and then Bill kind of eased everything out. So now he's just kind of like enjoying it for a second. Like, okay, it's working a little bit, I guess, but he's still like nervous.
The horse does or not the horse, the Pegasi, basically a horse with extra steps, steps forward and very, very cautiously kind of noses at your hand. And then when it realizes you're not going to eat it, it fully like pushes its nose in your hand and kind of starts snuffling your pockets for treats.
That's so cute.
I don't think Arby would have any treats.
I'm going to say Mary has sugar cubes in her belt pouch because she needs it for her tea. So she'll open up her pouch and hand you a sugar cube, Arby.
As long as the horse doesn't lick Bill, because heaven only knows what happened if it got some of the child-inducing mushrooms that are rubbed on Bill.
God, we could have a little colt pony, a little colt Pegasus. That'd be so cute.
So I had a thought. With this being a stable full of magical familiars, are there any familiars here who would be capable of speech?
You could try.
He goes out in the stable and goes,
excuse me, can I have your attention, please? Can any of you speak and understand me?
One of the owls kind of flies down, tilts its head, and goes, well, at least you're a little cuter than, the weirdo in the rafters. What can I do you for, kid?
Do you know what happened to the puffball?
Well, I was out hunting, but let me check here. And it kind of flies off, and you hear like screeching and squawking and like calls and it comes back and he goes, well, old man Dan back there. Now his kid is, well, his kid, and his kid loves him, by God, but I'm not quite sure old Bill feels great about it. However, that's neither here nor there. Old Bill back there said that some little tiny humans with wings came in and took him. Now, I don't think humans have wings. I've been around a little bit. And my little witch scout is, well, queen of the archery range, and I've seen, a little bit while traveling. But that's the best I can do you for. Is there anything else I can help you with? Perhaps catch you a mouse? You look a little underfed there.
No, just if you see a pigeon, whack it for me. We have a long history, pigeons and I.
Gladly, sir. I will be asking the nice miss there if I could perhaps have a sugar cube. I did do very well. I am a very, very good bird.
Indeed, thou art the best bird. And she hands out a sugar cube to the owl too.
And it takes it and flies away and kind of ruffles its feather and eats its cube and is very happy.
So as the player, I think I know what we're dealing with. Would that have been enough to shake Bill's memory?
Yes, if Bill would like to take a guess.
I'm pretty sure we're dealing with pixies. They're like little fairies that are mischievous.
The Fae folk? Dear Lord. And Mary looks like legitimately afraid at that.
Well, yes, they are fairy folk, and they have taken Puff, and we must get him back.
Do fairies work for the devil?
I don't think so.
Nay, 'tis worse than the devil. The fair folk, they know no bounds nor laws. At least Satan himself follows the code of God. The fair folk, they trick all.
They perform shenanigans.
Indeed, much shenaniganry.
This is dire.
'Tis worse than witchcraft. And thou knowest I say that not lightly.
As you come to that realization, you do see, revealed to you now, it seems to be a trail of glitter heading in not the direction of the docks, but towards the mountain forest.
Well, we know pixies are in the forest. I say we follow them to the woods. And is Jessup gone? Where is he at?
He's long gone. He's
Okay.
left. You saw him heading in the direction of the lake, which is the complete opposite direction.
I believe they led a false trail.
Jessup is an idiot.
It would seem so. I'll say we follow them into the woods.
And with that, we are going to take our break. We are at a good stopping point. Today, for our first part of our episode, we were joined by Arby
I like these horses with wings.
and Mary
The fair folk. The fair folk. Oh no.
and Bill.
I hope we find the magic puffball. He sounds kind of cute.
And if you would like to play this game yourself, it is called Witch Scouts by Livy Watkinson and Christopher Foster, and you can find it on Drive-Thru RPG. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye.
Today's mid-episode shoutout is, quote, "Gratitude to my mentor, Elena, for your guidance and wisdom, which have been a guiding light in my journey." End quote. Thank you for supporting us with your shoutout. Everyone, if you'd like to arrange for us to read your shoutout at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com, you can. You can also share Firebreathing Kittens podcast with someone you know, or share a paperback or audiobook adaptation of our adventure, which you can find on Amazon and Audible with them. That sentence diagram was crazy. Let me try that again. Or you can share a paperback or an audiobook with a person you know, and those are available on Amazon and Audible. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Fire Breathing Kittens episode. Today we are joined by Bill,
Welcome back.
Mary,
Hello.
and Arby, who has graciously volunteered to give us a quick summary of what happened before the break.
Yes, greetings. I, Mary, and Bill found ourselves in a bar where we were asking for some drinks, and there happened to be lots of children and parents chasing after children. And after asking around a little bit, we were approached by a purple-skinned drow with horns named Indemnus, who asked us for help in tracking down a puffball, which was to be used as a disco ball light for dancing, but also was a familiar of a well-to-do, or a child from a well-to-do family. This puffball had went missing, and they were hoping we could track it down. We were also introduced to Tiffany Tyler Johnson, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, kind of Barbie-esque character who could produce magic mushrooms that offered us the ability to transform into the shape of a child in order to blend into the camp settings. We were led to the stables, the last known whereabouts of the blue puffball. There we found some small, little, tiny, quarter-sized footprints, as well as lots of glitter sprinkled about, and an individual hanging from the rafters known as Jessup, who offered kind of in a very, I don't know, not sarcastic, but kind of like a very non-serious or non-committal way, kind of offered his help. And we declined, and he went off on his own way. And Bill helped us track the actual path of these individuals that we believe are Pixies, small winged humanoids who are up to shenanigans. And we are currently tracking their footsteps towards the forest.
Can I request that the Pegasus that Arby befriended be with us?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Do you just open the door and expect it to follow you, or do you grab a halter off a hook?
I taunt it with a sugar cube. So just like leading it that way.
As you open the door, it is very happy to follow you for a sugar cube. And now that it realizes that you all are not scary and going to eat it, because it was a little worried when Arby was a little scared of it, you can tell that this was actually a really good children's Pegasi, and it just kind of toddles behind you very happily.
Mary is incredibly pleased. She'll turn to Arby and say, Arby, dost thou wish to ride the Pegasi with me?
I would love to. Do you think it would allow this?
Let us ask. And Mary's going to go and ask, O Sir Pegasus, may we ride upon thou stout back?
As you walk up to it to ask that, it kind of like bows down on one leg and lays down and like floofs out its wings.
Oh my gosh, I give it 2 sugar cubes.
It's very happy.
You're going to make this Pegasus so fat.
It'll burn it all off when it gallops. It'll be fine.
How did you get so good with animals, Mary?
'Tis a secret. But they always love food, especially mine sugar cubes.
Arby will climb on its back, I guess.
I was going to say, so Arby climbs on, you kind of settle in, and it still sits there like looking expectantly at you, Mary, and Bill.
Oh yeah. No, Mary's going to hop on right behind Arby.
Little horse, I would break you if I got on your back. I weigh several thousand pounds. I will stay on my rock polisher.
The Pegasi kind of snorts at you, and you get the feeling that if it could, it would be rolling its eyes. Like, whatever. It doesn't believe you.
Well, I'm not going to hurt you just to prove a point. You're allowed to think I'm a liar if it saves your back.
Bill is so sweet.
It was ridiculously sweet. Okay.
Are we going to the woods?
Yes. I don't think full gallop would be smart, but a nice canter. No, trot? One of the two.
How about a jog? We'll cut the middle there. So as you guys are kind of going down, it's pretty smooth ride, and occasionally if you kind of slip to the side, the Pegasi kind of flips up its wing and pushes you back. And it seems to be like headed down the path where the glitter is, as if it's kind of ridden this path before, like, oh, okay, I have kids. This is the way we ride, blah, 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 blah. You know, very well broken in trail horse, who is not barn sour, because that bothers me as someone who has been around horses. Your GM has little things. You eventually get to a fork in the trail where the dust goes left and the rest of the trail goes right, and it's labeled Camp Loop to the right, and it's labeled Mountain Trail to the left.
And there's no more little footprints?
Do you stop and look for the little footprints, or do you just follow the sparkles?
I feel like they've laid one false trail. Perhaps we should check to make sure they have not laid another. They seem to be tricky.
'Tis wise words, Bill. I think Mary will go and help try and find tracks. Try and find the true trail, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's have Bill roll 2d6 and we'll give you +1 for the help from Mary. And if you all want to mark down another friendship tally mark.
A total of 11, a 5 and a 6.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Nice.
super succeed. Since you are remembering that this, you are remembering more and more about Pixies. You're like, yes, I know this. This is super familiar. You notice that the little footprints kind of circle around as if they were trying to decide what they were doing. And the path to the right does have footprints headed back on the Camp Loop trail, but you follow them down. And to you, it's only like 20 or so feet. But you would imagine to a pixie, it would have been like felt like a very large distance. And they abruptly turn left and go back towards the mountain trail through the woods.
They go towards the mountain trail.
My Bill, thou knowest much of the fair folk. How did you come to meet them?
I lived in the woods when I left home for a while with some people who turned out were not heroic, but they taught me things about the woods and some about fairies.
Were the fairies in thy woods nice fairies?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Just like people, not everyone's filled with sunshine.
Bill, what you said these individuals that you spent time with, they were not heroic.
No, they tricked me. They said what we were doing was good, and we were robbing people, which I learned is not heroic. But when they got to killing people, I realized it was wrong, and I stopped them.
I am terrible sorry to hear that, Bill.
Well, important lessons are difficult to learn sometimes, and I have a lot of lessons to learn before I know what it means to be a hero.
It does sound like your actions in the end did end up being heroic.
Thank you. I now keep a diary of what is heroic, and protecting children is number one.
Is saving puffballs heroic?
It seems to be so far, but it has yet to be decided.
That's wiser and wiser still, Bill. I do like thee. And I like thee too, Arby.
You seem pretty nice yourself.
We are in very pleasant company.
Indeed. I do hope the fair folk are kind here. I trust them not, but mayhaps I need not like them to get the job done.
So let's follow those tracks.
All right.
Do you follow on Pegasi back?
Yes. I'm not getting off this horse unless I have to.
Some kid's going to come back to camp and be like, where's my Pegasus?
I'm going to be blowing a big fat raspberry at him.
So as you guys kind of continue down the trail, you notice the sparkles kind of turn off into what looks to be like straight trees and just like cuts off. However, with that super awesome, almost 100% success, you get the feeling that this is not truly trees. It kind of wavers like a mirage.
I think they're using magic to trick us. I don't think those are trees. If you look at them, they're dancing, and trees don't dance like that.
I mean, if you eat enough mushrooms, they might.
Again, it is not the fire-breathing kittens stance that you take mushrooms from strangers.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I feel very Hank Green right now. Don't eat grass. Don't eat mushrooms from strangers.
All right, so I guess we pass through these dancing trees.
I do want to keep an eye out at this point, though. Like, Mary is a very suspicious person. And now that we've come up, like, we're basically entering the Fae folks' land, she's going to be on guard, basically.
Cool. As you push through these dancing trees, they seem to melt away at your touch. It's very much so like heat wave mirage. You do hear little tiny giggles in the distance, but they're super far away. Behind this curtain of trees stands a twisted wrought iron gate labeled McScruggs Secret Garden, do not enter, and the sparkles go straight through.
So Mary is sitting behind Arby on the Pegasus, and her grip just tightens around him. She is so scared right now.
Well, I think I have an idea how we can avoid going through and still follow the tracks. We can all fly.
Oh, it has wings.
We go over top. We don't go through his garden, therefore we do not break his rules, which in the Fae can be very, very bad.
I like the sound of this plan.
Make it fly, Arby. I know it's not how.
Let me try. Follow me, Pegasus. And then I fly up high, and first I reach out to grab a sugar cube.
Yes. Good call.
Let him sniff it, and then fly over top and let him follow me.
So I will give you +1, but Arby, I am going to need a roll of some kind.
All right, I'm okay with that. No, never mind. I'm just gonna roll. I got an 8 total.
Ooh, okay. You get to choose a condition. Either grumpy, mopey, confused, chicken, shifty, or shifty.
I think technically I already have chicken from earlier.
Yes, you do already have chicken.
When do those fall off?
So chicken clears when you run away or back off from a confrontation, which I will potentially say, if you can get this Pegasus to fly, you'll drop that one. Or when one of your friends rescues you from danger, or you confess your fears. And then the other ones have different condition terms.
Did me assisting him to confront the Pegasus anyway, and now he is riding his back, not count as helping him overcome his fear?
Oh, yes, you are correct. So never mind. You don't have chicken right now.
Okay.
I think my confused condition, if we're talking conditions now, I'm pretty sure mine cleared because Arby explained things to me. Okay, great.
Yep, that one's gone too. So you all are completely non-conditioned until Arby picks one.
Arby, use that conditioner.
It's on page 18 of the source book if you have that pulled open.
Yeah, I'm looking. I was trying to figure out which one I was going to pick, but I have an idea. So it's been a minute. It was mid-morning. It's been a while since I ate that magic mushroom, and like most children, I need a snack, and I am grumpy. And maybe it's mostly because I'm hungry, but maybe it has to do with the scary garden sign and the fact that we're like going into unknown territory to face these fairy, which Mary has warned me about. But I'm just like, I'm not going to take it out on the Pegasus, but I'm going to be like, we're never going to find these fairies.
Do you like hit your little fist against your thigh and a little tantrum?
We're never going to find these fairies.
Do I need to roll again to track since we're flying, or does my other roll still hold?
I'll let you roll again to track.
Okay.
And the Pegasus does kind of check to make sure you guys are on solidly, ruffles its feathers, and then launches itself into the air to follow behind.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to ride that 11 as long as I can, but I figured now that we're in Fae world.
So while you're rolling that, Mary, she had her arms around Arby because she was scared, but now feeling his frustration, she's going to actually like give him an actual hug and say, "We shall find them, Arby. We always fulfill our missions. And no matter what, it'll be all right." I don't know if that's enough to clear the grumpy condition, but
I'll let it. That's so cute.
Then give him a sugar cube
Yeah,
just to spike
yeah,
his sugar.
exactly.
Arby's
Just
going
like
to say, can I get a sugar cube?
You may have 2. She gives him 2.
Thank you. He eats them.
So I rolled a 3 for tracking, so it's either feast or famine with me, apparently.
So you spot what seems to be a big pool of glitter, and the Pegasus spots it, and you all head towards it, and you land in the middle of a patch of plants. And these plants are... It's a luminescent plant. So even in the morning or mid-morning lunch daylight, they seem to glow and shimmer with the same kind of like glittery tone that you've been following. However, it looks like there's rhinestones just sparkling all over this plant. And some gentle tendrils kind of fold out with leaves in front of you. And they all are reaching out towards y'all, offering up these leaves as if they were a snack.
Oh, Mary immediately doesn't trust it. Like, we're in the Fey realm. She's going to call out, "Stay back!" and cast the spell Wither. Drain some of the energy from a living thing, making it tired and lethargic. It's got a backlash, but let's hope I don't trigger that.
Yes, please roll.
Come on. I got a 6. I need 1 more point. Is there anyone who can help me?
Oh, so you were casting Wither.
How does she cast Wither?
So Mary does not really like consciously use her powers, so she's scared, and seeing that Arby's frustrated and Bill's been doing a lot of work, she just kind of reacts and like pushes both of her hands out, trying to push the plants and their tempting snacks away. And there is this like wave energy that comes out, and as soon as it touches the leaves, like I imagine that the rhinestones start to lose their luster.
Does anybody have any way to help?
Yes, I am going to one of the fife traits, and I am a fife. I can grow and shrink. I'm going to grow to my old height for a moment and step in front of my friends and be like, "Hey, leave them alone." So, do I need to roll for that, or just give her a +1?
That just gives her a +1. Arby, did you have a way to help too? I'm not supposed to, but I'll let you give him a +1 too if you can help.
I don't think I can help with the magic side, but I did mention I carry a shovel around. Can I just start smacking these things with the shovel?
Yeah, that's fine. So that gets us up to 8.
8. Yeah. So
we
it's
still
not
have
a complete
backlash.
success, but I am willing to take a condition for this. I think Mary, in her fear, but also trying to be brave, I think it is a condition, right? I take 1 condition.
Yeah.
She'll get mopey. So she gets a little sad, just like, the energy's draining from the plants, but it also seems like she's also having like a lot of emotional drain right now. So this condition clears when you break down in tears, or you rescue a friend from danger, or one of your friends tells you why they need you. So
Bill is going to turn to her and go, "Hey, you did the best you could. All the plants left us alone. We make a great team. Me being big only did so much. You did most of it. I just scared them a little bit. You did a great job. High five."
I know it's not a high five, but I shall give you a handshake and
Slap
a hug.
my hand. You can
Okay.
absolutely have a hug. I'm not very soft, but you're welcome to one.
Mary gives like the weakest high five ever. And then just like gives you a quick hug too. Apparently she's a very huggy person.
Bill hugs you back and goes, "We'll work on the high five. That was a great start."
Your hugs are quite good.
Thank you. Nobody has told me that before.
Oh.
The DM is not emotionally prepared for this episode. It's so cute. Yes, so I will let the mopiness fade as you guys continue forward. However, I am going to need some kind of other roll or spell, perhaps, for tracking forward, because you guys did lose the trail a little bit.
Maybe someone else should try to find it. I led us into trouble that time.
Yeah. As a hex scout, I only have like offensive stuff, I guess. I have Wither, Evil Eye, and Sleep, which doesn't really help us here.
Well, I think I just used other and to roll to see if I could just keep track of it. Because, it's either cast a spell or literally anything else.
What kind of objects are in this garden? Are there like lots of gardening implements and things laying around?
Wait, are we in the garden or did we pass over the garden?
Oh, that's right. We were flying over.
Yeah, you passed over the garden. You're just in this random patch of glittery weeds.
Yeah, because I did not want to go against what a sign said inside of a Feyan realm. I have... You be polite, you follow the rules.
Exactly.
So, okay, I have an idea. These Fey plants that I was like whacking with my shovel, can I say that a piece of like stamen or something like stuck to the shovel? So
yes,
I have a spell called Animate Object. I can animate it to mindlessly perform a task it can do, and I'm gonna be like, follow that glitter, and I'm gonna try and animate this piece of plant to like do my bidding.
Oh, please, I want the stork so much.
So it's just a straight roll because I only have one bubble or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Not good. 6. My rolls have not been good.
Can I offer it a sugar cube?
Yes, you can offer it a sugar cube.
Yes.
Plants
need carbs too, you guys.
Yes, it needs sugar. The little tiny plant, takes the sugar cube and runs it back to its bigger plant. And instead of giving you a condition, your little plant kind of reattaches itself and is sitting there chewing on its sugar cube. And the bigger plant rips itself out of the ground with its roots as like legs and kind of does a little shake off and like a little jig and stands in front of you with one of its leaves pushed against what you would assume would be a forehead and giving you a salute.
Oh.
I will salute it back and I will say, Private Buttercup, follow that glitter.
It shakes off and then it kind of in that cartoony way, like transforms the big plant into like a dog/horse shape. More of a dog shape because it puts what it would be its head down on the ground. It starts like sniffing and it like points, and the little plant piece that you had is still sitting on top of its back, just eating its little sugar cube, very happy. And it points, and then you would think if it could bark, it would be barking as it runs off into the woods.
After it, Pegasus.
Follow that plant.
Now we gallop.
I turn my rock polisher up another setting. Went from buff to shine.
As you all speed off after this plant, after Captain Buttercup, right? Is that what you named him? Or was it Lieutenant?
I said private, but I'm thinking it needs to be ensign or something instead, because I'm thinking naval terms instead of... Anyway.
Insert military term here, Buttercup. Whatever makes you happy, listener, is running after, and you quickly find the trail again. And as you continue forward, you come across 2 trees that seem to be all woven together into an arch. And this is kind of where Buttercup kind of loses the scent pool a little bit and is casting and circling and air scenting with its nose in the air and putting its nose on the ground, and it kind of sits there and looks at you and then sits in the middle of the arch and just wags its plant tail. And out behind the arch wanders what looks to be... Where is that? Aha. What looks to be an old, hunched woman with white hair, sporting a very, very gaudy orange apron and a basket, and she's kind of whistling and picking plants off the ground, not even paying attention to you all or to Buttercup.
Bill is going to walk over to her and say, It's morning time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, grandmother. Can I help you gather your mushrooms?
And the woman kind of jumps and turns and goes, "Oh, goodness me, you... What are you doing so far away from camp? I wandered out from my garden," and she's saying this in kind of an old woman voice. Your DM is kind of sick, so listeners, imagine.
You're doing great.
Theater of the mind.
Old woman voice. And she's like, "You should not be so far from camp, young ones. Going on an adventure, I see." And she kind of notices Buttercup and does a double take, and she kind of leans over to the Pegasus and says, "Do you see the luminescent nettle too? I haven't finally gone crazy, right?"
No, that's Private Buttercup. She's a friend.
"Oh, 'cause you know that they eat children, right?"
Well, good thing we're not children then. And he winks at her.
And she kind of does one of those adults like, "Oh," double takes. And she says, "Well, anyhow, if Buttercup," and you can tell she's kind of laughing at the thought of the name, happens to entice you, make sure that you take some of this." And she hands you a what looks like a little tiny pot holding a fern. And the fern is also glittering, but in an opposite way. Whereas the nettles were glittering in a very attractive, like, look at me, star power kind of way. The fern itself is a very dark green, and the glitter almost seems internal. And Nanny McScruggs kind of tucks it into Bill's hand and says, "Just boil yourself some fern tea and you'll be okay." It kind of serves as it makes you crazier than me, even though I'm an old woman in the woods, so what do I know? Be good and make sure you get back by dinner, young ones. And she just kind of toddles off into the woods. Unless you guys stop her, she's going.
Wait, hold on. I have a question for you. Have you seen a puffball being escorted by pixies, perhaps going through these trees that may be a gate?
Oh, she kind of laughs and she goes, oh, that must be what they were all talking about today. I was here for my special herbs and that I make deals with them, and they were all in such a tizzy over something, and I couldn't quite understand them. They speak so high-pitched, and she kind of like pulls what looks like a rock out of her ear, and she goes, my magic helping stone aid isn't quite up to par sometimes with helping me with those high-pitched voices. Yeah, if you just want to kind of go through, good luck, though. They seem to really be attached to whatever they've captured.
Before we go, Mary will hold out a sugar cube and say, "Thank thee for thine help, proud grandmother."
Nanny McScruggs kind of looks at you, does a very royal, more smoothly and gracefully than you would expect from a woman of her age, deep curtsy, and says, "Well, thank you, young little princess," and takes it and tucks it into her little basket and wanders off.
Oh my God, Mary's so happy.
I think we should go through the arch. It seems she thinks it's safe enough, at least, that we could go through it.
Let us go.
Do you all walk through it or fly?
I'm gonna walk because I feel like if something happens, I'm better on my feet.
Yeah, I guess we would walk through as well.
I will go first.
Followed. Are you on horseback walking or are you?
I did say I'm not getting off this horse unless I have to.
I'm just gonna double check.
Bill is off of his rock polisher and walking on foot.
Arby, are you still on the horse?
Yeah, I think I'm staying on the horse.
Okay. As the horse kind of hops over some roots, Buttercup's staying like right behind and off to the side like a well-trained dog, seeming unwilling to leave you now that it's gained sentience. And when you cross through the trees, it's almost like a field of diamonds has been dropped over your eyes. And suddenly you see sparkling wings and little tiny, like 3 to 6 inches tall pixies flitting through the air and tittering and flying. And there's young ones playing in the wind. And there's a couple over there brewing something in teeny tiny little thimbles. And other ones are sewing and doing things.
How sparkly is it?
It is like pool of diamonds on a clear starlit night with no moon.
Oh my God. Mary is so entranced. She was called a princess and now she's in this like land of diamonds. She's totally forgotten what they're there for.
Arby, seeing Mary's reaction, is going to say, "Stay focused, Mary. These shenanigans, they could hit us with these shenanigans from any direction."
Ooh. Yeah, especially hearing that from Arby. Yeah, no, I think she would kind of like, she'd shake her head a little bit and then try and get a clear look of the place and try and find the puffball. I shall not be tempted by the fae folk.
Perhaps we should ask the Pixies if they have seen the puffball.
Are you still big, Bill, or did you shrink back down?
The effect only lasts a little bit, so I shrunk back down, I assume, unless you want me to be big for narrative purposes.
Nope, small is fine.
Bill, I appreciate your honesty. However, in my experience, creatures who are duplicitous in nature, often honesty is not the best policy.
Yes, but stealing from the fae is rarely beneficial.
I think perhaps we question them, but maybe we approach it in a way that makes it sound like we are disinterested in the puffball.
Show me how it's done, please.
You all have kind of gathered a crowd of what you assume to be like the older adult pixies are just ignoring you until you do, and you get the feeling they're just going to leave you alone until you do something. There are clouds of younger ones kind of flitting closer, and you kind of see one getting shoved forward in the air by its friends, almost like it's being dared to go and poke you. And it kind of flits up to Bill and pokes him on the forehead and flits away, giggling, going hee 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 hee. So whoever, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, is there what's the closest, like, most important looking pixie I can find? Like, do I see one that's like looks like they've got a position of importance or might be directing people to do certain things or that sort of thing?
Standing at the base of a tree that's at the end, this clearing's not very big to you guys because you have been adults, you've been adventurers. It's not very big. Standing at the opposite end, you see a line of guards leading up to a door in a tree.
I will head over in that direction. And I will approach the guards and I will say, pardon me. I believe I heard that a puffball had passed this way, blue in coloration. I believe this puffball is a danger to your people. It has been posing as an innocent and sweet-looking puffball. However, I believe it has a taste for pixie flesh.
Out of left field. I love that.
my question for Arby is he lying through his teeth or does he truly believe this?
No, he's lying. He he wants to learn the whereabouts of this thing, but not give away that he actually wants, like, desires to take it from them. So,
okay, so roll me 2d6, unless you got something magical you can add to that, and then if anyone wants to help out, feel free.
I don't think Bill would help out because he has no idea what's going on. He might actually help out by accident. He looks at him and goes, wait, the puffball eats pixie flesh. We need to get it before it eats the pixies. Please tell us where it is right now. I am very worried about you.
I think Mary's going to expound upon Arby's lie even more and say, indeed, we've heard it to be a vicious creature. No goodness in its nature at all.
Go ahead and roll and take +2.
all right, I got 7 plus 2 is 9.
9. So what would be considered a mixed success of kinds. But go ahead and mark off 2 tally marks, those of you that helped out. So 1 for each of you. And then, so as you say that, the young pixies all like gasp and they all fly off and hide behind things. One of them hides behind Bill's ear, and another one kind of flies and hides in the forelock of your Pegasus, and the Pegasus kind of flips his head, but the poor little pixies like stick into it. And then I will allow you to pick a condition. I would suggest shifty, maybe, because you have grumpy, mopey, confused, or shifty.
Yeah, shifty sounds right.
Awesome. So the guards kind of square up to you, and some of them pull their weapons. And if you looked closer at the weapons, you would see they're like toothpicks and sewing needles. And one of them has a popsicle stick with a name kind of smudged out on it.
It's one of the joke popsicle sticks.
Yes. And they all kind of shove you forward, or they shove a skinny looking one forward who's kind of shaking in his boots holding his little toothpick. And he goes, Who's to say that you're not here to crush us?
I will be very careful where I step, I promise. If it will make you feel better, I can get back on my rock polisher and only float, and I won't touch the ground.
And Mary is going to reach into her sugar cube bag, of course, and take out 3 whole sugar cubes and she says, we offer unto thee an offering of sparkly foods.
And I'm going to need you all to tell me how many tally marks you have.
I only have
6.
2.
Bill's been doing a lot. I've got 2 for Arby and 2 for Bill.
I wasn't keeping track of who they're for. I was just keeping track of total.
Oh.
No, I just need a total. Okay. This is important because if you're following along in the playbook, we are down to end of adventure moves, and the GM is to tally up their marks. And if the total equals 10 or more, something happens. As you offer the sugar cube, the poor little nerdy looking guard kind of straightens up and he takes like a couple little tiny pieces and tastes them. And then he tamps his little toothpick on the ground and he goes, "They are bringers of the gift of good food. We must welcome them. Bring out the pixie eating puff." Like fully believes it.
Well, you all see Bill looks very concerned right now.
Mary is just gonna a little whisper shout to Bill, "Worry not, Bill. We will protect them if we need to."
But
wink,
you
wink,
said,
nudge, nudge.
You said it had no good in it at all. If it has no good in it at all, is it heroic to rescue it and give it back to a child?
Mayhaps it may be reformed. Redemption is possible with all.
I will trust your judgment.
Huge sigh of relief.
As you all are doing that, some teeny tiny little trumpets, and they look to be like made out of honeysuckle, kind of sound off, and the door swings open out of the tree, and out kind of hops this little tiny shiny blue puffball, and it's following behind this very regal looking female pixie with large butterfly-esque size wings and a very large thimble that has been kind of turned into a crown. And as she steps forward, she goes, "What is this I hear of pixie eating puff? This is not a pixie eating puff. Who fills your heads with such folly?" And she kind of stops and she goes, "Oh, a princess, of course," and takes a bow in front of Mary.
Oh my
and
God.
Says, are you here? Are you the giver of the good food?
Indeed, milady. And from horseback, of course, she would not step down from her horse. Well, Arby's horse, her horse. But she will bow and do like a little bit of a curtsy from the top of the horse, just like pull her skirts out a little bit and bow her head. She is so into it. Like, you guys can tell she's so happy. And she says, "We three of the Camp of Fable do offer thee sweet treats, so that we may entreat thee to share the puffball with us."
She seems to consider it for a moment, and she goes, "Fare thee well. We just took it because it was the only thing small enough for us to carry. We do have to live up to our adventurous natures, but I do hope this means we can consider ourselves friends."
"But of course, and thou art brave adventurers indeed."
Thank you. And she kind of gestures forward, and the little puff kind of pops forward, kind of like a very happy Pomeranian, and it's kind of floating on air, and it climbs up Bill and kind of snuggles into his shoulder, and it feels like getting tickled by children's laughter, like a baby's laughter.
Bill sort of gives a grumbling, I like this one. Gives a little pat. "Thank you, Pixies. We will protect you from the puffball. It does not seem to have a tasteful living statue."
Fare thee well. Could we... I do not feel like we've given you enough in exchange for these wondrous treats. Could we potentially convince you to give us one more? And the queen's like trying to be really coy here, and like kind of just like trying to be cute to these adorable children selves of our adventurers. Could we perhaps gain one more of these sweet, sweet treats for a quicker trip through the forest?
"I shall do thy one better." And so Mary's prized possession is the coin purse that she retained from her original world. She finds gold in this world completely meaningless. But she cares about her own money because, like, you know, she's the daughter of a merchant. It means a lot. So she reaches out. She has a very limited amount of coins. She reaches out and takes out, man, I wish I knew the actual term for this coin, but it's basically like a penny, like a single bright penny, and gives it to the queen, or, you know, the head pixie, and then also gives a sugar cube on top of that. And Mary says,
"Do you mean a pence?"
"Pence. Yes, a pence. Thank you."
"You're welcome."
And Mary says, "This pence is one of my most treasured treasures. I ask thee to also treasure it."
The head pixie kind of inspects it and then claps her hand in glee and goes, "I must make this into the seat of my
Throne.
My
Throne?
Throne. Yes, thank you. I'm so excited. I forgot words. This is beautiful. Yes, of course. If you all would like to stand over at the entrance, we'll send you off on your way shortly.
Yeah, I think we do so.
Bill is very careful not to squish any pixies.
Does Buttercup, the newly awoken luminous nettle, seem to enjoy this location? Because I think I might let it continue to exist here in Pixie Village.
Yes, it's having a really good time. Like little pixies and like garden pixies are kind of fawning over it, and it's sitting there rolled over on its back getting its belly scratched. And the little one is sitting at a table with some of the like older pixies pretending to have tea, like the still kid pixies. However, when you guys start leaving, it does start to follow you.
Oh, okay.
I think Arby might have gotten a companion.
I just hope it doesn't eat any children.
You've got a fern for that. It's fine.
He got a duck last season. This season, he gets a child-eating plant.
I'd call that an upgrade.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you want to keep it, it will follow you, but you can always command it to stay.
I'll let it follow me if it wishes.
Okay, it follows you to the entrance, and the queen pixie kind of flutters behind.
Oh, wait, hold on just a second. We are about to take a child-eating plant to a place with a lot of children. Just a thought.
I will feed it a squirrel or something before we arrive. I'll take my phaser out and I'll hunt down a squirrel or something.
My suggestion would be a sugar cube.
Is this a bag of sugar cube holding you have?
Indeed. I need much sugar for my tea.
Although I do suppose if an Elizabethan person was brought into today, they would be into a magical world where sugar was available readily. They would have
Absolutely,
a lot
yeah.
of sugar.
No, the sugar cubes did not come with her. She was not nearly rich enough to have this much sugar, but she's been having a lot since she got here.
In my head, I've been thinking that like you probably had like just a few sugar cubes, but when you ate the mushroom that turned you into a child, your supply of sugar cubes magically expanded.
I love that.
I like that. That's a great. I like that.
Yes.
She's going to be so sad when she gets back to adult mode.
It's like, these aren't sugar cubes at all. These are vitamins now.
As you guys make your way to the entrance, the queen waves and says, "Goodbye, goodbye," and they all kind of tinkle and say goodbye. And in a flash of light, you're back at the entrance of Camp Fable. And Dimness is there kind of organizing children into lines, and TTJ is there, and she's fluttering around, you think doing her job, but who really knows with her? And she notices you, and she goes, like, OMG, you guys are, like, totally back, and OMG, like, you found him!
Yes. I think we've also rehabilitated him already. Mary said there was no good in him, but he is very cuddly. It's like a baby laughing. I like him.
Well, like, okay, also, that is a Pegasus from, like, our stable, yes?
Yes, he did a very good job. Or this Pegasus, excuse me, I don't want to misgender the Pegasus. The Pegasus was a very brave steed.
Well, like, did you guys, like, totally, like, not see the do not enter sign on his, like, stable? We, like, totally were gonna sell him because he's, like, not great, but if he's totally fine with you, you could totally, like, just take him home, and that would, like, totally solve all my problems.
Yes, we shall take him. Mary's just imperious on this Pegasus back. She's like, she's not leaving. Ever.
To pry her off.
Exactly.
Well, like, okay, is there anything else I can... Oh, wait. I totally, like, know what you need. And she, like, claps her hands, and couple blue mushrooms appear. And she goes, I'm assuming you guys, like, totally want to be adults now, right? Like, being kids is kind of lame.
Yes, please.
I quite enjoyed my time as a smaller and younger version of myself. However, the amount of emotions and experience or internal feelings I had were far larger than my small frame could contain. It was very distressing.
I do agree with the Arby, but I shall miss the carefree feeling of it.
Well, you guys could totally come back, just don't tell Indemnis. And Indemnis is totally standing behind her, just rolling their eyes whatever. I don't have time to deal with this. And you all eat the mushrooms and are returned to your normal size. And today we were joined by Arby.
Private Buttercup, we must away.
Mary.
What is this Pegasus gender? I must give them a good name, a proper name for a steed.
And Bill.
Bill writes down in his journal, rehabilitation, important for being a hero? ?
Thanks for joining us on our adventure through playing the game Witch Scouts by Livy Watkinson and Christopher Foster. Again, you can find this on drivethrurpg.com. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Fare thee well.
It's that part of the show where we tell you about a podcast you might enjoy. Have you heard of Ready to Be Romanced? Join Tori, the host from the pop culture podcast Ready to Be Petty, as she dives headfirst into the world of love, passion, and steamy plots on Ready to Be Romanced. Love is in the air, and Tori is here to be your guide through the latest and greatest in romance novels. From sizzling reviews to juicy recaps, she leaves no page unturned. Curious about the hottest book talk trends? Tori's got you covered. Whether you're a devoted romance novel reader or a casual on the hunt for your next escape, Ready to Be Romanced is the podcast that guarantees to keep you laughing and maybe blushing a bit, too. Don't miss out on Ready to Be Romanced, available on all podcast platforms.